Hello everyone, welcome to this new video in which I will explain the placements in which your gates possibly are located. This is going to be very interesting. Stay tuned. See you after the intro. Nowadays, everyone knows that being a Pisces doesn't mean your whole personality is dreamy, emotional, deeply spiritual. Nowadays, people are aware that we have different placements. We have the sun in human design, the earth, moon, Venus, Mars, all the other planets that are representatives of different aspects of our self. And in this video, if my daughter lets me, I'm trying to give you a brief overview over every placement so you can self-analyze your astrology or your human design chart. Before we dive into it, here is one quick overview. You can screenshot that where you have all the symbols of the placements and the placement. First, we will start with the big 6. And before we go into them, I need to inform you that I created a whole ebook that should work as your cheat sheet. So please, if you're interested, if you want to learn and have everything that I'm sharing here as a PDF, so you can use it whenever you pull out a chart, feel free to download it. So, the most important 6, the main 6, are in human design described in a family analogy. And that's super interesting because it's very easy to remember. I'm going to walk you through every family member / placement, and I highly invite you to take out a pen and a paper and write down each family member, and maybe you can pause the video or you can do it afterwards. Write down your human design gate besides it, and if you have ChatGPT, you type into ChatGPT your specific gate, and then ChatGPT will give you the information about this gate. Then you can practice your analytical skills with pulling out the PDF that I just created and combine those information. So the information of your gate and the information of the placement. Because when we look at each gate separately, it's just an energy. But the whole way of it showing in your life is defined by the placement. Please think for yourself, because ChatGPT, you all know that it makes mistakes, but actually as a tool to look up gates for beginners, it's really powerful. Please use that and learn about yourself in a very quick but efficient way. Okay, so let's start with our analogy. First, we have the father archetype. That archetype is connected to the sun, our conscious sun. Our conscious sun is what in astrology would be our sun sign, and it's 70% of our personality. It's our life's work. It's what we are here to create. It's our main energy. And if we look at the father archetype, it's when we are in a traditional family, the father goes out and represents the family to the world, and he does the work. He does his life's work in the world, in society, for humanity. And he's acting in the world. He is outside. He, like back in the day, he dealt with everything outside. Also, if you remember, back in the day, the whole family was named after the occupation of the father. So they are the baker's family. It's the family of the baker. Or the fisherman's family. It's the family of the fisherman. So the occupation of the father defined the whole family. It was the life. It was the influence the family as a union had onto the world, and that's in our personality, our main effect on the world. That's where we shine, we deliver, and where we feel most like ourselves, because it comes naturally to us. Then that's something very interesting that I find so interesting. In astrology, we don't have the earth sign, but in human design, it's very important to have the earth sign. And in my perspective, honestly, a little bit, in astrology, we perpetuate daddy issues. Because in astrology, we say the sun is the male energy and the opposing female energy to the sun is the moon. But how about Pluto having influence onto us when Pluto isn't even a planet, but our Mother Earth that we always tend to forget did not have any influence on us? Sounds weird to me, and sounds weird to human design as well. That's why we have in human design as the opposing female energy to the male energy is not the moon, it's the earth. And that's the mother archetype. Makes sense, right? So if you have the male energy from your sun sign, the father archetype that is outward focused, you have the female energy that is inward focused. So your earth, your mother archetype, the gate that you have there, this gate grounds your sun energy, your father. The mother is the balance. The mother brings the father into balance. So the father goes out, fights wars, bakes bread, fishes fish, comes home, and the mother brings everything into balance with her energy. She's the exact opposite of him. And only by having the exact opposite of the man, of the father at home, the father can actually do good in the world. I already said the father is outward focused, the mother is inwards focused, and inwards means inside ourselves. So our earth energy also is somehow how we treat ourselves, our different parts of self. And when the father comes home, he's also part of the ones at home that the mother takes care of. So these are the parents, mother and father, sun and earth. And it's interesting because then we come to the moon. In normal astrology, the moon would be the opposing female energy, but in I already mentioned it, in our human design perspective, the moon must be the eldest daughter. And if we put the eldest daughter next to the father, we have daddy issues, right? And it makes so much sense. I mean, I know astrology is older than our Western fatherless culture, but nowadays I think it's more crucial than ever, because so much bad, so much evil in the world comes from families with absent fathers. And it's almost like the wish for a father manifested in there. It did not, obviously, because astrology is way older than this issue, but if you take a look at it from nowadays, it's even more important to put mother and father, the sun and the earth, on one level, and then comes the moon as the basically rock that surrounds the mother. Imagine the moon is surrounding the mother. Why that? Because, as I said, the main six, we have father and mother, we have eldest daughter, and then we have Mercury as the eldest son, and then Mars and Venus as the youngest siblings. Otherwise it makes no sense, it's not in balance, and it makes total sense to me. So we have the moon, which is the eldest daughter, and she's the driving force. She's somehow the reason why the father does everything. It's in normal astrology also connected to our emotions. So that's really it. It's the emotional cause that drives the father to do anything. He does it for his daughter. And yes, of course, it's also describing the emotional world, but it's also It's more importantly the emotional world that brings us to doing things. Then I already mentioned it, the eldest son is Mercury. And if you imagine this family, you have mother, father, and all the children, the eldest son is actually the one who sets the tone for communication, because he's the man at home and father is outside in the world creating and doing what needs to be done. So Mercury is all about, and that's also in traditional astrology, all about communication, thoughts, thinking, what do I need to express, and also in human design, more importantly, how do I communicate and what do I communicate? And that's the eldest son. He sets the tone of communication in the family and also therefore what needs to be expressed, what you need to be vocal about in your life. Then we have the two youngest siblings, Mars and Venus. And as the two level before, we again have two opposing energies, male and female. The Mars energy really is this immature. I always have this soccer kid in mind. If you imagine this family, you have the older siblings that already have some kind of responsibility, emotional responsibility of communication. But then you have the youngest son. He's just outside running, playing soccer. And he, because all the other members of the family are holding already so much, he can focus on his talent, on his skill. He is the one that is exceptionally good at soccer, and the whole family every weekend gathers at his games, and he thinks of nothing. He's very egotistical somehow, and he only focuses on what he wants to do. In classical astrology, this is also correlated to power, to sex, to war, to everything that you do. It's this really pure, immature, masculine energy. And if you see it like that, it's really like a progression of femininity and masculinity. So masculinity starts like in the most immature version, it's just doing, war, sex, skill, like just doing. Then it evolves to thinking, thoughts and communication, and then it evolves to creating a life, really actually building something in the world. And the same with the female energy. Let's first go to Venus. Venus holds our values. In human design, Venus is the little girl in the family that is so precious and lives in everyone's heart, and she sets the tone for value. What does the family value? Everybody protects her, meaning everybody in the family needs to protect those values that she holds. In astrology, Venus is about love, it's about the beauty, the beautiful things, the nice things. It's about love and the heart somehow. And there you can also see the progression of female energy. We have this raw, immature value, love, this purity of love. Then we have emotions in the eldest daughter, and then we have the mother, the mothering, nurturing, balancing energy. So that's the progression of female energies. These are our 6-5 man energies, and now I encourage you to stop the video. I hope you made notes, and then you can now check your gates in your chart. I also link down where you can create your chart and check out how this analogy plays out in your chart. Which gates do you have in your father archetype? And let ChatGPT help you with that, because that makes everything super easy. In this video, I'm not going over every placement, but you will find every placement in my ebook that I linked down below. It's free. So this is the family analogy. Again, if you're interested in the other placements, these are not that important, because the lower it gets on the column, these are the ones that are more influencing the collective. For example, Pluto moves really slow. So we always have whole generations having the same Pluto placements. So it will not be so easy to distinguish in yourself. Believe me, working with the 6 placements I told you about will be enough already. But before I end this video, I have a little extra for you as well. The nodes. I'm going to talk about the nodes because in human design they are very important. They make with your Sun and Earth gate the incarnation cross. And also in astrology, I feel the nodes play a big role because I'm going to deliver this information as if I would believe it. I don't know if I actually believe in reincarnation. It's something that I am agnostic about, but those teachings strongly believe that, so I'm going to deliver the information coherently with those teachings, but have in mind this is something that has to do with something that I personally myself cannot verify or did not yet. So in traditional astrology, the nodes are describing, so the south node is something that you've mastered in the last life, somehow what you've learned in the past life, and the north node is something that somehow will become the south node in your next life, but it's not that linear because I believe then you would always have the same two changing. So maybe you skip a life and then you come into another human. I don't know. I don't get reincarnation. But the north node is something that you are going to develop a lens, a perspective that you're going to develop in this lifetime. So you can imagine it like starting in your south node as something that is very comfortable, that is you're feeling very used to, and something that's already very natural to you. And south and north node are always exact opposing energies. Start in green and you need to end in red. It's almost like every life is about turning your perspective upside down. And in human design, the north node is really something, it's like a north star that is pulling you in the right direction of your life. So there can be repeating patterns and theme connected to your north node, signs that you're following, signs that you're on the right path when you feel connected to that north node. It's the lens that you are gathering somehow through the experiences of life. And the south node is the lens, the perspective that you're kind of born with and with which you see everything, but it's the invitation to to learn to see the restraints of that perspective and put that glasses down, so to say. Yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I really, guys, we are heading towards 100 subscribers. If you're watching this video and you found just one information helpful, you just liked the vibe, please do me a favor. It costs nothing for you, but it means the world to me. Whenever I have one new subscriber, I make a party. So please subscribe, help me to reach 100. If you like the video, please like it, and then I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good time, and then bye-bye.